Hello everyone, this is Wolf. Quick apology. Looks like I'm having a little bit of difficulty connecting back to the server. I had an issue earlier today that required a restart, and... Okay, back up. Try to get back in. There we go. Oh. Hello everyone, welcome back to Unbound Season 2. This is my starting little area here. I've made a couple of changes since I was last on. Didn't get a chance to show you much of this. I've got my bamboo growing here, of course. I have a couple of villagers, most notably my mending librarian for 16, which is still expensive, but I didn't zombify him, so I'm willing to accept that. I also have a couple of villagers down over there, and a Fletcher for me to get emeralds for this guy. I've had a number of other projects that I'm working on, such as the cherry tree wood, and some nether wart, which all of these will be shown later on. But the topic of today's stream, hey Yankee, thank you for tuning in. The topic of today's stream is actually going to be a couple of things. One, we're going to do some decorating of my starter base over there. Two, we're going to do some planning. By planning, I mean we're going to lay out some things that I intend to build in the future. To do that, I have all of this sand, dye, and gravel ready to make some concrete powder. Now you might be asking yourself, concrete powder, what for? It's a block that has a distinctive color. The colors I've chosen here are cyan, green, and blue. And we can use these to mark out pretty much anything we want, but I'm going to use them primarily to mark out areas that I have projects planned in. So let's go there. Now green is going to have a specific color for it, same with blue, same with cyan. And they stand out, and that's what I was wanting here. So I'm just gonna grab, I'll grab this right here too. Just gonna grab a couple of each color. I should have my bow, or I won't need an axe. Okay, a couple of each color. Here at my starter base, not really a starter base, here in the area, the village I chose to take over, got a lot going on here, but a lot of this is temporary. No, I have not. Miss Nala, our little kitten, is currently curled up in my bed sleeping next to Junior, my cat. He's starting to tolerate her more, so progress is being made. So, first things first, let's go over to our starter base. Let's start doing some work there. Ooh, sugarcane is growing quite nicely. Primarily why I want to do this right now is it'll show just how large of a space that I have planned for myself and plan to work with. Like this whole peninsula here, I want to one day have like a proper desert town built into it. So there will be phases to what I'm building here. Increasing levels of complexity. That's before I even consider building a mega base. Part of that is that I want to have fun with this. I want to just tackle a big project and see where it takes me. And I think that's what I enjoyed the most about building the biome in my custom or in my Let's Play world. That actually building those fields, making those road pathways, yes, it was expensive, especially all the iron, but I had a lot of fun doing it. So I will be doing the same thing here. Alright, my starter base. One notable change, it's over here on the side. Bubble Vader. Figured I would do some exploring in the area, and happened upon a couple of things that would be useful for future projects. One of those is a skeleton spawner. So I built a basic skeleton farm. Right here, as you can see. Also not far away from it is a geode, which going to stick our head in there real fast. This is all still very, very rough. Farm needed some minimal basic stuff to it, but I see geode, which I've already done one full harvest in here, and it's given me a ton. The absolute mountain of amethyst, so it is very much worthwhile to have here. Don't think I can do an automated one just yet, and probably wouldn't be a good idea to do one in that place anyway. Through there is another project, which if you see that is probably a bit of a spoiler, but I have also been doing quite a bit of digging. So we came over, landed this spot specifically because I also didn't want to give away something that I've been working on in the Nether. Yes, there is another portal here. Right there. Everything's all connected, but there's more going on here on the server than just what I've been building here at my starter base and back at my starting area. But with that said, starter base is only going to be one, this structure specifically is only going to be one aspect of the starter base. We will be doing a bunch of decorating in here for that, but we've got more that we need to do elsewhere. It's good. Sorry, I'm happy with the roof and how it turned out. With that said, part of the reason why we've got the concrete powder, I want this base to have various sections that sort of shoot off the side of it. And I'm thinking in this area makes the most sense for us to put a mob farm. So let's grab a bit of the sand here, which is just going to be, I'm going to end up mining away a good chunk of the sand and resources here as a part of this process. But I think that's okay. When I was building the base, I mentioned there would be other elements to it, and I think this fits. So, to make a proper mob, or to make a good mob farm, you want something to be reasonably decent, reasonably large in size. So, I'm going to make this the very center block. I'm going to count out, water will flow a total of 9 blocks, which means, or a total of 8 blocks from the source. So that means that what I'm going to be making needs to be minimum about 10 or 12 blocks wide in each direction. I think I'm going to go with 12 because I want this one to be relatively good size. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And this will end up being our outer wall. We're going to replicate, that's probably big enough, 5 blocks. We're going to replicate that on all sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 5 blocks on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And the difference in terrain height here is okay. As you'll note, these 3 are relatively stable. That's quite a drop. That's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now that we've got our basics set up here, we're going to want to make our circle. You can make a pretty easy circle by taking the length of your main span here, which is 5, dividing it in half, rounding down to the nearest block, and that'll get you this right here, okay? You then go out, so in this case 5, I would go out 2, and I would add 1 to the edges of that, and see where everything connects up. So we'll do that down here, and here. And for the most part, that is going to give you a pretty close approximation of what a circle would need to look like to connect it together. It won't be perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but you're not going to be able to get an absolutely perfect circle in a game centered around blocks. Looking at this, I could go in a straight line and connect all of these, so that means they line up. But if I did that, let's go ahead and show you what that would look like on a side. And See there, it's kind of flat. So it probably wouldn't be a bad idea for me to bump this out one more block and start building around that. Geometric shapes are a challenge in of themselves. So a little bit of experimentation goes a long way. Now we've got 3 blocks there, and that looks quite a bit better. Yep. Much more circular feeling, which is okay. Now the mob farm is going to sit inside of this, so there's going to be a fair bit of extra space to work with. That's not where that goes. So, now here, I'm going to have to drop that down and see something weird happened here. I put that in the wrong place. Oops. Alright, let me go up here. So, 3 sides connected. And there we go. We have our eventual location for a mob farm. It's close to the base, which means it'll be pretty much continuously active along with the other automatic farms that are going to be in the area. Like an iron farm that could go in there, or melon and pumpkin farm that could go in the other tower. Won't really help us much when we're trying to deal with bigger farms, which is where this spot right here comes in. Swap this for some sand so I can stop the flowing water. Because we're going to switch on chunk borders here in a moment. For the moment, let's block the flowing water. Yep. I'm going to want to take advantage of 1.20's most powerful feature, which is bamboo. I know that seems surprising, but yeah, Minecraft 1.20's most powerful feature is bamboo. So for F3 and G, we'll be bringing up your chunk borders. Hey look, chunk border right here. More likely than not, I'm just going to outline this like so. So, that's 1 chunk. So 2 chunks by 2 chunks is a lot of space for growing bamboo, but that's basically what you would need to run a super smelter, which I do plan to eventually build one. For those doing the math, that's exactly where I need to be. I had 63 to work with. Should take exactly 2 stacks minus 2. Put this together. So for a total of 126. Math was just hard there for a second. You'll note we're going to bump up against the side of this, which means this is perfectly placed. There we go. Let's go along here. This is just outlining where I'm going to be building the farm. I don't think that I will be building much of it above ground. Most of it will be underground. There we go. Couple extra. May have done the math wrong there, but may have also missed a spot. So now we have a spot where I can have quite a large underground space, or space sunk into the ground, for a bamboo farm. That will be boring. Just a bunch of buildings all scattered around. So I think this might be a multi-purpose space, which is why I chose to make it so large. If this is a multi-purpose space, I can do so much here. I could have, say, on the upper portion, a bamboo farm that periodically harvests itself, and then I could build further farms going down for things like trees and sugarcane, and I should eat. So while I'm here and as the sun starts to go down a little bit, let's place a few torches. There's just 1 random water source block over there. Make sure this area is well lit up, because it's going to become a construction site. And the last thing we want is Mr. Creeper Building Inspector coming by and blowing something up. Sorry, stress testing. Alright, Scar is adorable. Alright, let's go over here. That and that. And 1 more here. Okay. Well lit up enough to get the message across. Okay. I'm also going to want, other cool features. Green is going to be for infrastructure, so this will be for farms. That's perfectly fine. Turn off our chunk borders because I don't need those right now. I know I'm probably using too many torches, but I don't care. I have plenty of resources for the torches. I can always make more. Alright. To make this fun and to make this be an area that's actually pleasant to be in, I'm going to want a couple of gardens and things. So if I plan out a couple of small spaces where I can like make a belt of green. Yeah, I could go tame a few wolves here. But if I plan out a space where I have a belt of green space, well, that's what the blue is for. Blue is for pretty. That's what I'm gonna do. So starting here, probably just gonna every couple of blocks put one of these down. Because since this is mostly gonna be for like just guiding where things are, I don't need to put down a full line. But also these areas will get quite large. And I do have plenty of concrete powder, but at the same time I don't want to overstretch myself and have to constantly be going back and forth to the base. This is something that, you know, city planners in the United States could probably learn a thing or two about. You don't want to have everything so densely packed together that it feels claustrophobic. You also don't want to go too far as to make everything seem like it's so artificial. Falling sand. Also among the reasons why I chose concrete powder, so because it's a gravity block. Placing it in the weird spots a little easier. Sarah just slept for us. Yep, see. Now, I could have gone with just proper concrete. We do have a data pack on the server that makes converting it a little bit easier. Is that 3 blocks? This is a 3-block gap. Three-block gaps are illegal. This project, this method. Okay. So we've got one belt of future green space. I think it would behoove us to also have like a pop of greenery on the other side over here. Froglight Farm is in the not the future. Plans for a Froglight Farm are in there, Enki. So I guess a little bit of what I could do today is put up some signs so we can discuss what eventual farms and plans that I want to do. And coming down to this water space. Whoa! Hi, guys. Anyone want some rotten flesh? I think I could do that today without too many issues. I think I'll make this one kind of narrow, but also like just something that's supposed to fill in space. So, but yeah, there we go. There's a pop of greenery in here, and then that we've got all kinds of possibilities here. If I set this area aside, as I was saying right before I got rudely interrupted, as this whole pool as meant for green space, I think that would be really nice. And effectively planning ahead. Let's do that. And then this. Oh, sorry, Mr. Bunny. You're in the way. And if I bring this one to here, that's going to be kind of awkward. Let's follow the appropriate pattern here, please. Thank you. One's a little close, but that's okay. So we've got this whole area here that could be another expansion on that green belt. This gives us the ability to now start to plan out where we want everything to be, and that's what the green is for. Green is going to be planning out our roadways, it's going to be planning out our pathways. Or not the green, the cyan. Okay? If these two structures are all kind of interlinked with the main starter base, it just seems like it would be a one structure thing. So that means that if we're going to have this connect to anywhere else, kind of would behoove us to make it connect. So I think that's what the front up here will be used for. Make that a pathway. Now I'm essentially making this up as I go along, guys. So you're seeing my thought process at work. So you've got our portal here. I think I should stick with paths being 3 blocks wide. So as long as there's 3 blocks worth of space for me to work with, I can pretty much go anywhere over here. If I need to do a little filling in, I can, but that's not a big deal. So, beauty of living in the desert, gravity blocks everywhere. Oops. Alright. Now, this street that I'm making right now is essentially a waterfront. I'm going to put docks and other things on it, so we could expand out into the water here to make it seem a little bit more lively. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for a road like this to not connect to the inner portions as well as to the main house. If this is like the city and this is the house is that of the lord of the city and he's got other buildings associated with it, doesn't make sense for there not to be a pathway going to it. So that's why I did this. But it also connects up to the port. Meanwhile, everything else will connect up back here. So let's move along here. I forgot to bring shears. I'll just sacrifice one of the colors. Sorry, dead bushes are a wonderful block to decorate with. I hate destroying them. Here. It doesn't seem super comfortable just yet making such a long, straight path. In fact, it's actually really boring. But I've got the blue for green spaces. I can do quite a lot as I move along here. So bear with me. There's a method of the madness here. Almost. Maybe. I say there. No, I'm kidding. Let's go to here. Okay. Now we've gone quite a bit back. And we have a road that will be extending back into the town, so to speak. So we can have other things hooked up to it. Like, for example, this space over here that overlooks this little lagoon. This would make perfect. It would just be absolutely perfect for you to have like a club of some sort or a promenade along here. So let's make a road going over here. In fact, I think a promenade would be perfect in that spot. So this one. All right. Like this lagoon, actually it's a river passing through here. All right. Perfect place for us to have a promenade. Let's see, 3 blocks in a straight line, then jog over 1. That was all completely spontaneous. It was not planned. But now we have a roughly bordering the coastline here pathway, which we could have shops and restaurants along here. We could have little balconies that overlook the water. I'm going to make the water look better. Don't worry about that. I could work on a catchphrase, Enki. So, not quite there yet. Still having to build up the activity first. So, alright, replicating that same thing. But I don't think it's going to line up exactly the right way. It'd be useful here. Whoops. Accidentally mined a block of sand. So, let's make the turn happen sooner. Go 2 blocks over and go 1. Go 1. See how it just barely scrapes past this area? We can make this like, oh, this is a little creek coming underneath here with this water source. That's the beauty of building things like this in Minecraft. You can make up a story of, oh yeah, they built it that way because there was a creek there at one point, or that was the drainage. That's why I like it's why I like building such large projects, because it allows you to tell a story that way. Alright, now we're working our way up to the back here. And probably wouldn't hurt for this to then wrap back around to connect to the main thoroughfare. So I think I'll continue this in a straight line to about here. Maybe one more. Yeah, that's better. And then we'll have it kind of parallel. So, actually no. Go 1 down. Going to have it parallel this area right here. And then we can make a kind of overhung balcony space right here. I think that would be really cool. Go along back here. And extend this way. Another straight line. You'll see we're now connecting back up to the main roadway. So let's connect them. Let's keep this main thoroughfare in a straight line. It's just getting dark. Let's sleep real fast. Not quite to the point where I'm ready to begin lighting everything up just yet. There we go. Now all hooked up. And as you can see, we're on the other side of the peninsula here. If I make this whole area back here like storage and industrial space, it kind of would make sense, because you'll have the docks over there, you could have even more docks back here. Yeah, I think that would work. I think that would work quite nicely. Let's parallel this bit of water here, because I want to make this into a channel. Maybe like a dry dock or something. So, go in a straight line for a bit. Let's take this one, yes. Make another roadway going off the side here. Alright. Now we've got roads connecting up to the back area where we're going to build a pseudo-industrial space. We've got the front area where we're going to have a dock and a promenade nearby. I think that it might not be a bad idea to now have this go in a bit of a straight line, or not straight line, a diagonal. Go loop around to the other side. But I think this one's not going to cut it. This will, though. Whew, just barely. If we continue in a straight line, I'm going to make concrete in the water, which is not a big deal. See, now we've got 2 deep. So if I place it there, it won't be near the surface and easy to see. So swap that for a bit of sand here. See, now we're in our first bit of sugarcane that I might have to knock out. That's okay. I have a bunch of sugarcane being produced back at the starting area. Alright. Now that we've connected back along here, I can make this be like a bridge going to, let's say this is where water for the city is retained, or something. Very industrial intended. Let's go about this way. There's... Oops. Kind of... Oops, wrong color. Kind of particular about the spacing that I want to have here. Okay, I just had to be cheesy there. I almost did of the gateway, but... Oh, I know she'll get the joke. So... As with many things in a large city, you almost want to have a lot of open space to allow... not really a large city, but in a town. You want to have a lot of open space for people to be able to enjoy, but it also helps regulate things within the town. Hang on, I know those caves. So, okay, and all the way back here. Looks like she's attracting cats. Alright. I think that's far enough, because we can then have a couple of small little streets coming off of this that connect to various things. I think right here's a good one. There. Okay. Connect over here, and we can have some larger structures off of this one. And then if we go over this way, I think it makes sense to actually check on the terrain ahead before I start making a pathway that way. Let's see, because we've got this area here, which I do have a plan for this space, so don't think that would make the most sense. Ooh, dark cave. Since I'm here, and since it's, you know, the responsible thing to do, I'll light it up real fast. Down into granite. Looks like there's some light source down there somewhere. Probably glow lichen. Yep, okay. Lighting up caves and lighting up the area is just a general good idea. Not gonna lie. So that's what I was doing there. And I'm eventually going to block off a... Whoa, okay, good to know. There's water on that side. That was lucky. I didn't even think to look there. Also more than a little dumb, so... Alright. Now that we've got... There we go. That's being weird. I think it would actually make more sense to have, since we've got this green belt of space right here, have the roadway running alongside of it. So... I think I will make my way around these cactuses, so... yeah, sure, of course, Syro. I'm going to leave a space dark that you're probably going to visit frequently. Yeah, sure, of course I'm going to do that. I think I'll run it... this one. Okay. This line of blocks here. This will be our next street. Pro Minecrafter here, everybody. Oh. No, I can't do the professional way that certain YouTubers can do. Torch in the way. Torch on top. Gravity affected blocks. Better than wool for marking things out. Unless of... Ooh, nice dark down there. Unless, of course, you're wanting things to float. So, which, trust me, there is an application for that. I'm not knocking that. Just not the application that I'm going for today. So. Alright. Let's do another pathway along the water here, where we can have like a large balcony or balustrade of sorts with houses in the back. I think that would look quite good. That rabbit is trying so hard to get up there. Alright. And then we'll do another road coming off of this one. Kind of midway in the back here, about here? Yeah. And I'm going to try to leave as much of the terrain elevation changes as they are right now, because that will create some interesting variations in heights. And look, I've run out of concrete. That's okay. Just trust me, that's okay. With that having been done and I've run out of concrete, that means I can now focus on the other elements in here, the green spaces that I'm going to be putting around. I haven't really done much in this direction, apart from the big green belt right there, but that's just one green belt. Let's see, I did these every 2 blocks. Let's say I did a green space right here. Just a little, kind of a micro green space, but also ones that will stand out individually. That I think will add quite a lot to the livelihood of the city. Remember, this is going to be like an old town part of a city, so I want a lot of it to look like, yeah, that was built a specific way and it lasted. Go here. So, and I'll use these identifiers to put areas where I should put like a custom tree. Getting dark. Time to skip the night. Got a custom tree there. Can put one in the back here. I think it would actually make more sense to have it closer to starter base. So we've got a custom tree there. I think I'll put another one back here. At the crossroad. I am surprised I was able to continue bouncing for as long as I was just then. I was like, when am I going to fall off? So at that crossroads, we'll put one. At this crossroads, we'll put something a little different. Have a marker for a custom tree. That's too close to the road. Have a marker for a custom tree. And then paralleling this on this side, we'll put another marker for a custom tree. Which actually happens to be kind of nicely spaced there. And then backing off just a little bit, we'll do that. One off. So we can now mark this area as a much larger green space, and I did this 3 blocks off from the one back from that. Okay. Measuring is helpful because it helps you keep everything nice and lined up. You know, something doesn't match here. These line up. That's a night spacing. And same, okay, it does match up. Nice, I can guess myself. So let's head back to our industrial area. The area I want to have be more heavy industry focused. First, I'm going to put another custom tree here. Why? Custom trees actually stand out quite well in a build. So you want to make sure that you leverage them if you do intend to use them. Trust me, I do intend to use them. Alright, in the industrial area back here, we've got this hill. I thought a little bit about it while I was walking by it, and I realized this is the perfect place for us to put a custom tree. Kind of overlooks this bridgeway area. So we've got another crossroads over here, so we'll do yet another custom tree, probably kind of offset. Like so. And then, because we've got this space over here, and we're going to turn this into kind of a channel, have it connected, we will want our green space set back a bit. So our custom tree will go here. And I think it would not be a bad idea to have it kind of I want to try to leverage this. It's just one random water source block. So let's see what this looks like after I've done it. Building at a 45 degree is always kind of tricky. I think it's going to work. Alright. Let's stack up and just take a look at what this is going to seem like. And yeah. We'll have the green space extending back behind the tree here. I might expand the green space a little bit. But yeah, okay. I know, it looks like chaos right now. That's okay. Alright. These are a little too close to where the tree is going to go, so let's do this instead. Kind of have them merge into it like that, but open up and widen for the tree. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. We're now getting into the promenade area. This is going to be the channel. I think it would not hurt to have a specific piece of infrastructure here, in the form of a tower of some kind, but we don't want to touch that too much. Going to be an industrial space here, but that doesn't mean that we can't have green space. That is not correct. Let's do that to make another green belt. Okay. You can have a green belt kind of nestled away, hidden in the industrial area of warehouses and whatnot. That's totally fine. Got a torch there just to be on the safe side. Alright. Connection up to our promenade area. Got a lot of green space nearby. But we've also got this hill that I would like. Okay. Dripstone, pointed dripstone. pointed dripstone, just trying to make sure. We've got this high point here. I kind of want to leverage this and to make a custom tree that's framing it. So let's do that there. And another custom tree over here. But we'll also have it completely framed by green space. More there. Let's go over here. That's 3 block gap, not 2. So a part of the reason why I'm making sure that I stick to these spacing requirements is that it helps keep everything symmetrical in time. So nothing looks unusually jarring in its shape. Which, trust me, is surprisingly easy to do, especially if you're building organics. So let's do more in this direction. And there we go. That's how I always remember it. Stalag, ground. Ooh, lava pool. Good to know. And then stalak, ceiling. So, looks like Sarah has his own way to... Oh. It's just one of those things, you didn't think about it until you think about it. So. Alright, for this area, I think we do need to have a custom tree, but I think this one might end up needing to be a much larger custom tree. So we're going to go 2 blocks, 2 blocks, 2 blocks. I did not math that at all, but it worked. Okay, now we've got a space here for a much larger green tree, and green space I think should kind of, honestly, since we've got the thoroughfare there, oops, I would just angle it around here and have it connect to the promenade and just be like a park space centered around this tree. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. Start going in here. I know that I'll accidentally break it if I leave it there. And let's go at a 45-degree angle. Yeah, that works. We'll have to try and connect up in the back here. I'm sleeping through the night. And there we go. Now, I don't believe it's going to be a completely 45-degree angle. In fact, I think I might actually tweak it a bit and move some of these back in this area. So, how you lay out your notation when you're building, these little tips and tricks that I'm using right now, they are copyrighted. Anybody who uses them will be hearing from it. No, I'm kidding. They help make everything seem a little smoother. Helps you find the areas where you may have overlooked something. You may have overlooked how you could shape something. And now this could feel like a proper green space with a large tree, and yeah, I'm going to go down to the beach, and I'm going to hang out here. And let's go to the promenade, and who would like some falafel? So, A lot of fun. Got a shipwreck out there, which I don't know if I'll keep that, but yeah, why not? Keep it. There's a couple other ships around too, so activity is not lacking. Not in the slightest. I'm kind of suspicious now. What's down there? Just water? Okay. Over there. Over here? I lost track of where the lava pool was. It's right here. Okay. The lava pool. I'm gonna need to be careful here. With that, I think we've got just like one or two more areas that need attention. And pretty much that's gonna be right here beside the base. I think it would not hurt for me to put a custom tree in this spot. So you'll note all the custom trees I've previously done up to this point have been done not at a 45 degree. I want the one by the base here to be distinct. I think we're done placing the blocks around the city here. Around the eventual city here. I have catch-all right now. So let's go grab some scaffolding and see what this looks like from high up, so we can get a layout of how the city is looking. For that, let's go down here, because I made a ton of scaffolding previously. Like, way too... I made like 8 stacks of scaffolding for a project, and I did not realize I would not need not nearly that much, but at the same time, it's scaffolding. It's going to be used. One way or another, it's going to get used. Yeah. Let's go up, 200 blocks. See what that... No. Yeah, that's totally what we're about to do. So, as things build up, as I add more... As more gets added over time, yeah. We'll definitely be having fun. Now, this is not super fun, but at the same time, it is the fastest way to get high up in the air without any pre-existing structure already placed. So, I think 2 full stacks is probably going to be plenty, but it's going up 128 blocks. Should give us plenty wide view, but have 50 more if I need to go a bit further out. I think 200 is going to be fine, though. And I did it here so I could drop down into the water real quick. Alright. Oh yeah, 128 is going to be perfect. See how, and at night this is going to look a lot really fun. Now, I'm not going to be able to have any towers that are this high or any structures that are this high in the whole city here. It wouldn't make sense for it. Besides, this isn't meant to be a mega base. This is meant to be a starter base with a lot of decorative elements in it. Yeah, see? All right. So we've got cyan for our pathways. So we've got our waterfront, we've got our main thoroughfare heading to the back, we've got our promenade that connects to the main thoroughfare, we've got the road in the back where our industrial and storage space will be. The main road continues to the back over here where there's mostly going to be residential. We've got bits and pieces of green space scattered about with a good amount of it, actually. So, and then we've got the starter base, and we've got the support structures that are going to go with it. We can have a little bit more scattered around with it. Yeah. I think this is going to work out quite nicely. So if I use that right there for a bamboo farm, and I can have other slime block type farms underneath it, that would be very, very helpful. That's my mob farm, so both of these will be able to connect underground into the main base. Or, more likely what I'll do is I'll build another structure right in this area. So I think that's the next thing that I'm going to do. Plan out what additional structures will be needed to be built for the starter base. So, without further ado, Geronimo. That is always fun to do. It's going to be rainy scaffolding for a little bit. Alright. I just want to do that. If I do set up a proper, viewing platform, I'll do another portal to connect to it, so. Alright. That's all the scaffolding. Alright. Let's move on to the next building the next structure that will be attached to this. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me to... Actually, I should start inside. I can show you what it will look like from the inside. Being dark down there is starting to bug me. I know it's not much, but it's the responsible thing to do is to light it up. Regardless of what certain people that like to live on the edge say. Okay. Also because if I didn't do it then I probably would have forgotten about it. Go around here. You'll note the sand that's there gives me a roughly 3-block high space to work with in that area alone. So I know that where I have the sandstone here, that sandstone I placed, the sand underneath it will need to be excavated out. So that gives me a vague idea of how this in the back here will look if I connect it up. So since I do want in the back there to be relatively centered, fortunately I have it naturally marked here for what's the center. So if I do 2 on either side, lines up just barely. Okay. It's 3 blocks. You could technically have it go straight into this space. And now we have the center of it connecting directly to this element of our industrial space. But that doesn't really give us a whole lot of ability to connect over that way. The most logical thing from an architectural standpoint, this is also only 4 blocks wide, so it's also going to be narrow, especially if I were to make that like a storage space. The most logical thing from an architectural standpoint would be to bump out of this side because there's more elements in that direction. But who am I kidding? I'm not going to do this in that fashion. Not going to do it in the slightest. I retain this as the 3 blocks that are there. Then I'm going to bump it out. 3 blocks, 4, 5. And we're going to go this way. Another dark space to light up. Actually goes pretty deep. Okay, now I know I'm getting sidetracked, but that's okay. These, what are they, noodle caves? Can end up being really, really extensive. And connect up to all kinds of other things, like what this appears to have connected up to another section of the caves. Lighting these up is a priority, and very important because of the eventual farms I want to build in the area. So even if it does end up being something I excavate out and dig out in a later time, having these areas lit up will impact other elements of the game, such as spawning of mobs creating lag. So I just want to cover the bases in that. Since there's some coal here, I'm going to be responsible and mine it up real fast. You know, because that's what you do when you're trying to manage responsible energy, right? You mine up all the coal. Right? Anybody? Hello? Anybody? Obviously kidding. But given that I needed to have that for torches, small thing to spend a little time on. Now look, the literal seconds I spent on that added me a good amount of coal. Done that wrong. Noodle caves are fun to navigate. No, they're not. And we're back on the surface. Okay. Back to your normally scheduled rambling builder time. So we're going to pump this space out to here. I'm going to actually have it overlap a little bit to create what's known as structure confusion. And then we have a space that could be quite effectively used as a storage room. Even though it bumps out in this one area, that's okay. Because to make a proper storage room and to make something that's going to be really, really functional long term, hey look, it's working. Yes, I know the space up there is spawnable. I wanted it to be spawnable. So, spawn proofing up there would have covered up too much of the roof, but I do have a plan for lighting up parts of it so that way things don't spawn. But as it is right now, it just looks like a pretty roof that happens to be dark. Alright, to connect up these farms right here, it would actually make sense to just do this and so. I know there's another way I could have done that, but it's not a big deal. I could have a open gallery type thing here and have the two connect that way, but I don't think that would look too geometric for me right now. I want this to have somewhat more of an organic feel to it. So you go in here, you're in your storage room, all the stuff from your farms are being pumped into there. Oops, that's the wrong block. There you go. Sleep real fast. Be nice to your friends. No. I'm actually going to take this right here, which this is another element of structure confusion. I'm going to expand upon it and connect it up this way. Go. And then do the same thing here. This will end up being more of like just an access way, given it's only going to be 3 blocks wide. But it will connect up this space, which is what I wanted it to do. And it'll also give me the ability to run all kinds of redstone things underneath it to go to the storage room over here. Ultimately, the way I want this storage room to work is all the farms in the area I want to hook up to a continuous water stream in the back of the storage area that's going to be continuously feeding all of this. So I don't want the spaces to seem compact or narrow or anything, which is what this is for. Alright, so we also have this space in here. Perfect for green space. It is. So let's make it green space. One here. There we go. Now it's marked off as a green space area. You can do quite a bit with this. I don't know how I'll handle this area. I might just end up making this part of the structure confusion. That's okay. So with that, I think we have placed plenty of concrete for now. I do have more concrete powder that I can use, but I want to use that for other elements of the projects. So that will be seen at a later time. As it is right now, I think it is time for us to move on to the next stage of today's stream. We are a few minutes behind schedule, but that's, it's okay. Didn't have any concrete schedule on which I wanted to do everything. So, being a few minutes behind is not a big deal in the slightest. Should have put that there. The concrete powder, I'm actually going to go back to my base. I'm going to need the scaffolding, so actually I'll just leave the concrete powder here. Alright. Let's really know if I'll need to do much with that. So, I've got blocks of quartz, and I've got smooth quartz blocks. I also have plenty of bamboo still, tons of sandstone, and tons of logs. Okay? Now the first step in this area is actually going to be the pool in the center. Okay? I want this to be a water source that draws the eye to it, but I also want it to be something that's going to be calming. It's going to be an area that you'll feel like you want to be in. To that end, that's what I've got the smooth sandstone, and oddly enough, the smooth quartz for as well. So I'll explain to you how this is going to work. I already know I'm going to need sandstone stairs, so let's get those real fast. I'm also going to need some of the smooth quartz stairs, so I think that's enough. Okay. Alright. So you'll see down here how we have the sandstone. It drops. There's a bit of a lip in here. That's intentional. Okay? Oops. What I want to do. Going to place the smooth sandstone along here to create a nice lip to all of this, as well as a transition to the lower area. Okay, we're going to do the same thing here. Did not make enough. I did not make enough smooth sandstone at all. Smooth sandstone stairs at all. Let's go here and let's just do that. Okay. I need to make sure I have some blocks of smooth sandstone because those are going to be used here, actually. Let's do that real fast. Replace this entire interior area so the edge of the regular sandstone is not being shown with the smooth sandstone. And we're also going to do something a little bit further down in there, but I'll explain that when we get to it. Like that, we've got a staircase working our way down into the middle here as it gets a little bit deeper. Okay? Now the smooth sandstone. Go down in here. And the slabs are what goes down here. Okay? That gives you some natural feeling of depth to the whole thing. Okay? Now, the smooth quartz. This is going to be kind of like a lip along the top here. We're going to have these every so often. That's not where that goes. So, because this will create kind of an anchor for the whole thing. Smooth quartz block will go here in the corners. And then bamboo trapdoors will go over the middle here. All of it's going to be waterlogged. Which, speaking of which, it's time to do the waterlogging. If only there was a source of water nearby. Now that will fortunately become a full water source. Let's see, did I plop it into that one? I did, so let's do the corner stair. Hey, water mechanics are actually cooperating right now. And let's do that. There we go. Corner first. Am I going to connect everything? It did. Okay. There we go. Water mechanics can be fun. Sometimes they can be annoying. Sometimes you just need to be patient with them while the game figures out what it's supposed to do. And basically that just filled it in. Next we're going to fill in the corners here. Should be relatively easy to do. There we go. Well, we have all of these should be water source blocks. Here. Won't need that for a little bit. Go and grab some bamboo. Bamboo trapdoors are kind of expensive, but at the same time, they're also not my favorite trapdoor anymore. That's been eked out, but they're still up there in terms of the how good the trapdoor actually is. So that's way more trapdoors than what I need, but it's okay. So the bamboo trapdoor actually has a bit of a texture difference on it. If you look at it, the hinge has this little white spot. I want that spot facing away from the center of the pool. So as I go along like so. Get a little swim in. Alright. Helpful if I had my axe available to me. Alright. Now we've got the central focus of our house, the pool. Okay? Which, if you're familiar with how a lot of houses in the desert are constructed, there is oftentimes, for larger houses, a large pool in the center that helps keep the space cool, in addition to all the ventilation that I put in. Sleep real fast and skip through the night. Now, part of the reason why I spent so much time on this, I was willing to get so many of the stairs, even though they don't seem like they're needed right now, is that I need to make a staircase that allows us access to the upper levels. Okay? We have these upper levels, which pretty much are not accessible at all at this time. The best way to ensure that I can actually do that, though, would be to first define the space that I'm going to have up here. That's 2 blocks on either side. I was going to do for this. Alright. That means that this space, no matter what, is going to need to be clear to go to the area that we were working on previously. Okay. So if I tweak and mess with that, I can't do much. In mind, the best way for me to build something that acts as a structure to go up is actually a double staircase. That's the best thing. With that and planned, I have a bunch of chiseled bookshelves. I also have stairs made already. I've got sandstone. I'm gonna grab some birch logs, as well as some jungle logs for the very top. Okay? We're going to frame the space 3 blocks high with our bookshelves, which those are facing the wrong way. Did not realize you need silk touch for those. Oh well. Not a big deal. I do have silk touch on a pickaxe right now, and on my shovel, so. But you see how you've got the inactive side and then the active side? I do want to frame this area going in this direction as kind of like a library. So that's where that comes in. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go and match that same height with a birch log. This will give us the area where we need to now connect up to. Alright? So, this is a full block, that's a half block. That's where smooth sandstone slabs come in. I'm going to have those extend across, like so, forming the upper level in that area. Then we have our stairs come down off of this. Oops. Since I've done that, let's go along here. So for the ones on the edge, we're going to make a full block. They'll help frame everything here. So there's an intention to this. So. Now we've got what will eventually be the staircase coming down. You can see the angle, so it's going to go there, then there, then there, then there, then there on the way down. So it's perfect. It actually is. So unfortunately when it comes down here it's going to have to make a little turn, but that's alright. That's a part of the fun here. We're going to, along the bottom of this, run a single stripped birch log out like so. And then on the one below, we're going to do the same thing. So that everything lines up like so. Oh, I was bound to do it. Oh well. I'll have to fix that later. Alright. We've got a line of sandstone right here. Or we've got a line of birch right there. I don't want to do anything to draw off the color, so we're going to instead add a line of strip jungle. Now that will clash a bit with the floor, but at the same time, when you think about it, a lot of the materials used in the floor were also used in building everything else. Throw a torch back there so this area doesn't become an unintentional mob farm. And we're going to put another row of birch across the bottom like so. I think it's at this level that I'll actually be doing the... So we'll go down 2. connect up to this side. Did I carry that forward or carry it only two? Yeah, I did something wrong. No, that's correct. No, it is not correct. I put it in the wrong spot. Okay. I'm going to go with just the two for the moment. And then do this. Don't have a space for a block right there, but that's alright. Go like so, and hopefully not put the block on upside down. Go around and fix all the ones that I messed up. I think it would actually make sense to make this another... Yeah, that works. That really works. Okay. That's a log. Wrong block. Alright, then our staircase will go right here. And right here. And now we have our floor that we can put in this space, which is going to be more of the strip jungle. So, I'm not going to worry about what's down there already. I'm just going to replicate the way it is oriented. Now for this side right here, I'm actually going to put a birch log in there to keep the pattern consistent. Let's go up, fix our mistakes. Put a birch log in there to keep that pattern consistent. And then we can use this space along here for decorations on the inside of the staircase. We can do lanterns for light. We can, right now I'm just using a bunch of torches, but you know, we can put plants in there. We can put, you know, bookshelves to decorate things if we want to. Now, I understand we've got these end caps here that are not the greatest, as well as this weird spot in the bottom. Okay? Well, the most logical thing to do would actually be to just replace it with a stripped birch. Just like that. Now these end caps, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to swap out the end log. And rotate it like so. Pattern will be a bit jarring on this side, but we can cover that up. Okay? Along the top here, we're going to add in our first contrasting color and shape to this, which is actually going to be the regular bamboo. So I should go grab those. Now you may be thinking, contrasting color, you've got greens all over the place, you've got plenty of color. What's contrasting? Well, I'll show you. If I were to make it look like that, I would have this end right here. And if I strip it, it kind of clashes. But if I instead did it like this, it looks like it's structural. Okay. And it doesn't draw too much away from what's already there. Okay. Along the bottom here, I do more sandstone to frame that. And there isn't a whole lot to be done with the slabs unless I want to add more to them, but I want to leave them as they are. That we now have a staircase ready for further decoration that will move us upstairs. Now this area might seem a little weird. Not a lot of like safety railing. Step ahead of you. These are all top slabs, which means if I go along the side here and then I place a trap door, I can create a railing with the trap doors. Of course, this one here is not supposed to be like that, but yeah. Now, it will be kind of strange, but at the same time, I think it'll work. And it will be keeping in line with the colors that are chosen elsewhere. Since bamboo is factoring in so prominently into this particular design. Now for the stair blocks, these are even easier, because you don't even need to really worry about placing a block down beforehand. You just put a block like so. With that, you now have a staircase. Not much of a railing working your way up, but that's okay. In fact, I think I'll even replicate it on the bottom edge here. Not super needed, but it does work. It does bring everything and draw the eye together in a really good way that I'm quite pleased about. Okay. That in mind, the upper portion of the base here is going to be devoted to additional decorations. So a major part of this base is going to be storage and like general crafting processes. But I did want a good portion of it to have usable space. So you have a dedicated area with a loom, for example, and then storage and for dyes and other things right nearby. None of this is going to be for bulk storage. None of it. I think that's really quite important for a build like this. You don't want your starter base to incorporate a million different things if you're not able to meet that. So, these are spawnable space, because I'm on a bottom slab now, and that's at the top. Okay. Good to remember. I've got plenty to do here. I did think about putting in shutters and whatnot, but I don't think those will... I do want to put shutters into this space, but I think that's going to be a future project. Once I add a few more competing and complementary colors to the space. So, with that, let's go down and grab the bookshelves that I brought here. Not the chiseled bookshelves. The chiseled bookshelves are for another function. And all around have their own decorative options. Wow. Just before I streamed, I put up like another 50 or so torches around the starting area. That is a decent amount of light. It is a decent amount of light. Grab our bookshelves. Okay. So these are perfect if you're wanting to like hide them in a place that it's not going to draw the eye too much, and add just a little splash of color, which I'm going to have to do this. Silk Touch pickaxe. But what I saw when I first started working on this is these are perfect for creating roof-to-ceiling bookshelves. Now they may not be the most recent bookshelf, or they may not. In fact, down here, this doesn't look the greatest. It's still Silk Touch. So I'm going to replace this for a piece of sandstone. That's a part of this process. It's sandstone. Yeah, that works. Okay. So decorating is a lot of try it, play with it, see where it can go. Maybe try something a little different next time. Yeah, that'll work. That works quite well, actually. Alright. Let's go ahead and do that in all the corners before we get too far along. So the bookshelves are going to go, anyway. Bookshelves. Now we've got these elements which are very intricate and very ornate from the outside, and the inside they're a little on the flat side. They are flat. I'm not gonna lie. But there's one, the wall is too thin for me to do much to it, but I also don't have the materials to properly add the level of depth that I would have wanted to that. So what I could do is put banners in here and have banners hanging underneath that. Banners take a lot of wood, or not of wood, a lot of wool. I don't have that quite yet. So that'll be another phase of the design in the space. So before we move on too much with that, let's actually look at what we're going to do here with this wall. Yeah, it may seem counterproductive, but I'm going to relocate a couple of these torches so the light level in here stays the same. And with the wood that I have available to me, I could cover these walls in chests upon chests. That would probably look terrible. I'm just gonna say it. It would probably look terrible. So instead, I'm going to start with some crenulations. And then I'm going to bring the eye down to some functional workspaces. And you may be asking me, why are you doing that? What does that have to do with adding in functional blocks? You see, when you add in the decoration before the functional blocks, it actually allows you to more easily know where you're going to put your functional blocks. So adding that in, it looks like the second floor is a little more supported. I do need to do something along here. That means that I can now do something like, I have this space right here. I know I can't put anything in here. But what if I were to run, say, a row of chiseled bookshelves down? Specifically, though, I don't really want the side that is visible to most people. So chiseled bookshelves have the one side that's visible like this, and then the others that are not. I don't really want the visible element, this element with the books, to be seen from the other side. So I'm going to pillar up, knock out that slab, and replace it. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, but you'll see here, it adds that texture, bringing the upper level down to this floor. So it looks really good. All right. Break the slab. Now, one of these just isn't going to cut it. But if I were to go to the exact same position on the pool, you'll see there's a crenulation in the way. That's okay, because we actually want this next one to be in this spot, right here. One, it'll mirror the bookshelf, but two, it'll also help frame the tower's locations. So that's right here. Let's do that. And now we've brought the upper level down to the floor below. Now we can start adding in a few more of these trickier details, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. And adding in the functional spaces is always tricky. I mean, I could spam this wall full of chests, and it would be highly functional. It would also be ugly as sin. So, to avoid doing that, I'm going to make a few blocks. I'm pretty much done with the bookshelves and chiseled bookshelves, so I'm going to put those in there for now. Don't need the blocks of bamboo right now. I've got plenty of logs of regular types, so I'm going to go with some of these. Let's do with the birch. Alright, we're going to grab those, we're going to do that, and we're going to make combination of, we're going to make both barrels and composters for this bit, so let's do 6 composters and all of the barrels. 12, work. And I can always come back to make more. Okay? Now, composters, if you didn't already know, actually make a really good block for like a planter. Almost as good as whatchamacallit, the pot will. Okay? So if I put these like so, that'll help frame this space. Okay? Now I could put leaves and stuff in here, and I will. That's part of the reason why I have so many different types of plants growing over there. I'll go collect some of those in a little bit. But I also wanted to put barrels along here in the top. Now, you can get away with having regular chests. There's nothing wrong with that. I just, for something like this, and it's going to be a more of a base type location, I would like most of my storage to be hidden a little bit. And to have the chests in there like, or to have the, not chests, but to have the barrels in there like that, yeah, it's storage that could be accessed from multiple levels, and I can be used for anything I'm working in down here, which there will be chests down here, just not that many. Okay? So let's go up here. Barrels are also quite useful to be put down in the wall, or down below, but I specifically, should probably phrase things correctly, want a certain face of the barrel to be visible. Okay? To do that, I'm going to double check to make sure that I can actually dig down in here. I'm going to dig down just a little bit, double check, make sure that I can put the barrel in the way I want. We're going to do that. Okay? You're probably freaking out, like, why are you digging away parts of your base while you're decorating it? It's part of the process. Gotta trust the process. So, nothing is ever immutable when you're making a build like this. But as you start adding more and more elements to it over time, everything starts to click a little bit better. Find those areas where, yeah, you wouldn't have thought that that would work, but it does, so you go with it. That's what I'm doing right now. Alright. Now, you can see the top of the barrel over there, but the texture that I wanted is actually the back of the barrel. This is a really cool and really good plank texture, but it also works if you have, like, what I'm going to put here, it's a crafting table. So, crafting table on either side, actually, is how I'm going to do this. Make 2 crafting tables. One on either side, up top here. Okay? And then, if I go back to my smooth sandstone, I can do that on either side as well. I know I should have, and could have, and probably should have done this the other way around, or with a couple of tweaks to it, but building is a process. So, and right now I don't have any particular, like, it has to be exactly this way plans. Other than I know what I want to be visible in certain places. So with that, we've now got this space right here, which it nice and easily blocks off a good chunk of the barrel texture on the side, but adds planks. This looks like it could be a table that you work at, okay? Especially if I were to go in here and then add a shelf above, and I'm going to put light sources on that. So, in fact, that's what I'll do. Go to like so, and then I've got some iron in here, so do that. Let's go in here. Let's make a few of you, please. There we go. And now you see the little details, how they pull the room together. If I had some clay, which that's something I need to collect later today, there's a good amount of clay, there will be pots with plants and saplings all over the place in this space. I have plenty of trapdoors. Let's add more of these shelves at that level. Okay, so the shelf is in this block. If I put it there, I could put that there. There. And now we've got the upper floor is lit up. Okay? That's huge right now. This early in the process, having taken all of those twists and turns initially, having actually achieved lighting up one of the floors of the starter base, that's big. May not seem big to a veteran player, but it's a step in the right direction. Okay? So along here, I'm going to replace the torch with a lantern, or, better yet, could hang the lantern from here. Okay? It's actually not what I'm going to do to light up this particular space, but I should put that torch back. It's temporary. Okay? So, we've got this area now. These two cutouts. Not a lot is going on within them. They seem kind of out of place. Well, let's start by making the first of what will hopefully be several functional decorations. So 2 pieces of sandstone on either side. I need to make some sandstone stairs real fast. Having all the materials staged here beforehand has been a huge boon, and now I know it's not everything I'm going to need. It's a good amount. Okay. It is a really good amount for what I have planned here. Now, make sure that I get that in the right spot. We've got 3 blocks in the middle here. Three blocks in the middle here. Okay? That's intentional. Because almost everything involving chests comes in pairs, which is annoying. Alright. So we've got our storage. We've got our various blocks in here that are functional. We've got places where we can add more decoration. I think it's time for us to actually start putting in some of the proper storage. To do that, I'm gonna grab a whole stack of you guys. You're going in here, and you're gonna be made into chests. Now, I know I just said that I wasn't gonna use a ton of chests. I'm not. These are gonna be very, very functional chests. Kind of a random scattering of how they're going to be placed. Okay? I don't want there to be perfect symmetry on either side as well. There's nothing wrong with symmetry, but at the same time, I don't want to feel like I'm locking myself into something specifically. Put that there. And put a lantern on top of it. Do the same kind of in the middle here, and a lantern on top of that. Seems a little dark in this area. Okay, I could put something in there, but I think I'm gonna wait and hold off on that. So, and you're probably saying, Tor, you've got 9 double chests in here. You've got 9 chests in here and a total of 8 barrels. That's not enough storage. What are you gonna do? Who said this area was for storage? No, actually, what's going to go on the walls here is going to be a bunch of signs. Specifically bamboo signs. Keep opening that one even though it's not the bamboo. Well, I should put most of my smooth sandstone things in there. Let's do that. I know I made way more chests than I need, but that's part of this process. Okay. Grab that. Let's go here. Block of you. Ton of you. Way more chests than I could ever really need for this process. So grab... I know I had some... There we go. Mosaic. Alright. I'm having fun with the new bamboo. I'm just going to say it. So let's call this our project wall. Okay? And let's call that our construction plan wall. Okay? So that wall, this wall will be where we put, like, I need to build XYZ structure. And this wall will be where we put, I need to build these certain farms. So, let's make this top one here kind of decorative. Okay. I'm going to do redstone projects. I'm going to need a slime farm. Iron farm, very much essential. Bamboo farm. And dripstone farm. So those are relatively essential farms that will go hand in hand for a lot of what I have in mind. I'm already seeing one potential issue at hand, but that's all right. You put a... Oops, wrong orientation of the slab. I put the slab there, and then the lantern on top, that will help light everything up. Slab in the middle there as well, and one on top will kind of offset everything. See what I'm doing right now? This is called greebling. It adds an effect. Okay? So, let's go here. Farm ideas. We're going to continue farm ideas. Froglight farm. Honestly, yeah, I'm going to need it. I'm very much going to need the Froglight farm. I'm also going to need a... and... Piglin bartering and gold farm. Those are going to be a bit further down the line. Everything in this column is going to be a little further down the line. This column is going to be the ones that will be relatively easier early on, which we've already discussed another one, which is mob farm. I'm also going to need a sugarcane farm. And a melon and pumpkin farm. Alright. Tree farm is going to be on the more difficult side, so let's go down here. Basic farm. And advanced. Now we've got our ideas delineated here. Let's go over here and add another sign. Let's follow the same pattern. Materials that I'm going to need. Lots of smooth sandstone. Lots of quartz. And one that's probably not a surprise to anyone here, but I'm also going to need... and... those are going to be some major ones. While I was just thinking about it, it just occurred to me, I'm going to need to make a moss farm. Also going to need to make a cactus slash bone meal farm. So this process of laying them out is something that normally I do mentally. I'm just breaking it down so you guys can see everything in here. So, we'll add a couple more signs like so. I can come by and start adding more to them as things occur to me, okay? With that said, we've got our farms and our larger projects over here. This is where we're going to put a breakdown of structures and other things we're going to build. So it's just going to be one sign at the top, but there's going to be multiple ideas of structures. So I think an ampersand would work perfect there. And structures and builds seems to make the most sense for this one. Right below this, starter base city. Okay. Actually, there we go. Starter base, desert city, commerce city. Okay. I also want to build an entire biome all to myself. I want to design it. I want to build everything in it. So this is probably going to be a custom desert. I also want to do and there we go. This is just the start. I have more of these signs that I can put in here and add more to this as time goes on. Okay? Now you're starting to see the project management side of what I have intended here. Okay? So with that in mind, I'm going to run back to my main base because there's something I forgot. Quickest and easiest way to do that's through the nether. You're not going to see a whole lot other than just some of the nether tunnels, but I mean, they're nether tunnels. They're not decorated, they're nothing there. So I do have a bunch of things already connected up and some nether infrastructure already in process. Oh, and if you come over here, you'll see just how much I've been mining in the nether. I've got a good amount of netherrack in here. I think I'm going to be okay on quartz for a while. So, alright, there's about 5 minutes left, so I'm going to start winding things down here a little bit, but I did want to get over here and grab one of the things I forgot, which was right there, glowberries. Do I have any others? No. Don't. Some bones, because I'm going to need the bone meal. I've been doing quite a bit of mining, so... and collecting of resources. Let's see. I want... while I'm here, I've got these. Let's go grab some... so the mangrove will change color. Not in a good way. What I want is the dark oak instead. It doesn't change color nearly as much. Alright. 10. It's not enough. Alright, that should work. Okay. That's just the starter in there, okay? So I'm gonna grab some mangrove roots, which I think would be useful for one of the things that I have there, along with a few moss carpets. Okay. Now we're very much getting into the greebling stuff, so. And that is alright. Oh, let's go over here. I don't know why I dug it this way. I think I was like trying to figure something out which way the portal was oriented or something, but Did end up digging the portal in a weird way, so. Alright. Part of the reason why I grabbed the glow berries, and why I grabbed these, that I am going to need to make a bit of scaffolding. Let's do... And the reason why I'm doing this is that it'll allow me to help everything be more easily stabilized and connected. So if I go up to the top here, and I push that across, I'm only going to be able to take it so far without having to come over here and add more to it. Then I could use that to... See? I don't want it to fall, because it'll just end up doing that. But if I come over here, hey, I've got this all connected. Alright. Since this is here, it's now adding a lot more stability to the area. If I were to connect it that way... Isn't scaffolding fun to work with? No, it's not, but... Anyway, scaffolding! Yay! Everybody loves scaffolding. There we go. Now I've got a nice platform up here to work with. So you will recall, last time I said that I had something special that I wanted to do for this space. Glowberries. These will extend downward. That's why there's a full block in this spot. Okay? So if I do that, then I do this. Go. These can then grow down. Now, the corners are one thing. I actually want them all over the place here. Which this platform's not quite high enough, but that's okay. Do that. Do that. Let's go here. Now these will grow down on their own over time. So, see? That one's already grown a little bit. So that's part of the process here. Okay? Just adding a little bit more just verticality to this space. And who knows? It may actually end up just like clicking the process. See, that one grew again. So... Now, all that space up there, all those things, I do want there to be a skylight there. I would like to connect with that, which is going to take a little bit more scaffolding. Okay. There we go. Not all of them need to have the glowberries, but I think that would be nice. At the very least up here, I want as many as possible to be glowing. Alright. Then they will slowly grow down and add more green space below. I want to add one there. Alright. So, taking all this down will be as simple as just breaking them. Breaking scaffolding is so satisfying. Alrighty. One of the other cool things you can do with scaffolding is you can use it as a decorative block as well, which is why I have the carpet, actually. Believe it or not, it occurred to me it might work to add it here, just to create a little bit more depth, and then I can do something else in this spot too. Which I think that will work. Add the carpet like so. And then if I put like a banner or something, oh yeah, that'll work. I grabbed the mosaic and I did stuff on that side, but I didn't over here. Let's just do something like that for the mosaic. Nah, that's too much. So, mosaic there. Oh, those are different blocks. Now, probably thinking, what are the mangrove roots for? Well, we do have water down here, and mangrove roots are something you can waterlog. So I can build out kind of like underground plants in this area, and I will. I don't have any lily pads, but I do have plans to do that. Okay. Everyone's familiar with this, and that is not a color that I was hoping for. Oh, darn it. Oh. I'm going to need to experiment to find something that would look a little bit better. That was not the color I was hoping for that. Darn it. Oh well. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed today's going around and adding color and details today. This is a part of the process of building out the base. That was a oopsie. We will get there. Oh yeah, that looks good. We will get to the point where we have enough items, enough contrast, where everything just sort of like clicks. So, and as these grow down, I mean, like already, that space looks so good with the berries growing down. I just wish the other warped roots weren't, or not the warped roots, the warping tendrils, is that what they're called, weren't so bright red. But now you can see the greens that I wanted to incorporate here. And I think it's working. So, when these drop down a couple more blocks, I'll shear the ends of them so they'll stop growing. And that will be the final step to anchoring everything together. So with that said, though, I think I'm going to call it a stream here. So everyone, thank you for tuning in. It has been much appreciated, and welcome to my starter base. Oh, quite a lot more fun is going to be had here. So between now and next episode, I'll spend some time doing some excavations for the projects over in the back. I will also work on some other projects that I've got going on that will be a surprise for you at a later time. So stay tuned. More to come. Thank you everyone for tuning in. This has been Wolf, and have a good day.